Cunningham. Oh, I see Colonel. Lieutenant Colonel Pop is here. And Colonel Cunningham is here. And that's the other. Okay, that's all the edits. I want to go talk to the official party, and then we'll get ready to queue. And the med group are here. Colonel Baca and his pastor.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated and take a moment to silence all electronic devices. Today's ceremony will begin shortly. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the 86th Operations Group Commander, Colonel Brett Eckerd, welcome to today's ceremony. I am Technical Sergeant Christina Koch, your narrator for today's ceremony. This afternoon, Lt. Col John Field will pass command of the 76th Airlift Squadron to Lt. Col Bryan Gibbs. As a reminder, today's ceremony is considered an indoor event. Therefore, the wearing of headgear and saluting is not required. Additionally, verbal cues will be given when it is appropriate to stand and sit. We are honored to have some special guests with us today. Please hold your applause until all are announced. The spouse of Lieutenant Colonel Field, Eleanor, their children Mackenzie and Connor, and their Oma, Elvira Almsberg. The spouse of Lieutenant Colonel Gibbs, Crystal, and their children Henry and Grayson. The father and mother of Lieutenant Colonel Gibbs, Robert and Carrie French. The leadership team from the 86th Airlift Wing, the commander, Brigadier General Otis Jones, the Deputy Commander, Colonel Jamil Musa, Command Chief, Chief Master Sergeant Louis Ludwig, and Executive Director, Ms. Renee Fisher. The leadership team from the 86th Operations Group, the Deputy Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Coughlin, and Senior Enlisted Leader, Chief Master Sergeant Bryant Roy. From the 86th Maintenance Group, the Senior Enlisted Leader, Chief Master Sergeant Charles Craw. The leadership team from the 86th Mission Support Group, the Commander, Colonel James Cunningham, and his spouse, Kim. Deputy Commander, Lieutenant Colonel James Popan, and Senior Enlisted Leader, Chief Master Sergeant Timothy Herman. From the 86th Logistics Readiness Group, the Commander, Colonel Wesley Eagle, and his spouse, Donna. From the 86th Medical Group, the Commander, Colonel Dwayne Baca, and his spouse, Melinda. We also welcome all senior officers, commanders, directors, chiefs, first sergeants, family, friends, and the men and women of the 76th Airlift Squadron. Thank you for attending. History reveals that in the Middle Ages, soldiers in the field would often not know or recognize their commanders. In response to this problem, the Continental Army of the United States conducted the first official change of command ceremony. Just as it has in the past, the formal change of command allows troops to witness the actual transfer of command between two officers and see their new commander firsthand. The change of command also adds color and pageantry to military life, preserves tradition, and stimulates esprit de corps. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the presentation of colors, the singing of the national anthems by Staff Sergeant Linda Casul, and the invocation given by Chaplain Landron Thomas.
Squadron is formed. Present the colors.
Einigkeit und Recht und Freiheit für das deutsche Vaterland. Danach lasst uns alle streben, brüderlich mit Herz und Hand. Einigkeit und Recht und Freiheit sind des Glückes Unterpfand. Blüh im Glanze dieses Glückes, lieber deutsches Vaterland. Blüh im Glanze dieses Glückes, lieber deutsches Vaterland. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red color, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we thank you that we can gather here today and ask your blessings be upon this time of transition. And God, I want to thank you for Commander Field. Lord, this world is remiss of leaders that transparently embrace their faith and kindness. And as a result, I and so many have enjoyed the sweetness and camaraderie of the unit. And so, God, thank you for that. Lord, I thank you, Lord, for the Field family, Lord, and their love for both you and our unit. And I pray you continue to bless them as they bring their skills and gifts to their new assignment. And God, I thank you also for Lieutenant Colonel Gibbs. Lord, what a sweet man he is. And he knows the mission and he loves this team. I just pray you have your hand all over him, prosper him and his family with all the wisdom and timing and ability needed, Lord, to allow our unit, Lord, to continue to climb ever higher. And we'll trust you for all these things. In your name I pray. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Thank you, Staff Sergeant Kasul and Chaplain Thomas. It is my pleasure to introduce our presiding officer for today's ceremony, Colonel Brett Eckert.
So
so get ready for some comic relief. If you notice, she was standing on her tippy toes. This is about the right size for me, and John and Brian are going to be doing something like that to talk in this thing. So, all right, everybody, good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. Before we continue, let's take a second to capture the moment. Just look around at this beautiful scenery and what we have here today and what brings us together. There are very few places in the Air Force that can replicate what we have here, and even less opportunities to bring us all together and celebrate the world's fastest airlift squadron. Brigadier Jones, Chief Ludwig, Colonel Musa, senior leaders, distinguished guests, commanders, chiefs, Team Ramstein, spouses, and most importantly, the Fighting Doves. Thank you all for being here today. Also, thank you to the dedicated professionals on and off the stage for the dedicated efforts you put into this. I'm humbled to be a part of today's event and part of this team. Carrie and Bob, thank you for making the trip to be here today and for sharing Brian with us. We're honored to have you here. For those joining us virtually, thank you for attending, especially John's parents, Teresa and Larry, a retired Army colonel who served for 32 years. Thank you both for your service, sacrifices, and for introducing John to aviation at the age of 6. Coming from an Army family that spans multiple generations, I think it's safe to say that John is the world's fastest field. Eleanor, Connor, and Mackenzie, thank you for what you've given to the 76th Airlift Squadron. Eleanor, your daily sacrifices for the Doves and their loved ones did not go unnoticed. They will certainly miss your generosity. Thank you. John, none of this should come as a surprise to you. But I want to make sure it's heard before you pass the flag. Leading a squadron with 2 distinct aircraft that have similar missions but vastly different capabilities and crew complements is no easy task. Ensuring the Fighting Doves had the right training at the right time with an appropriate amount of resources is even harder. Whether it was 24/7 alerts supporting air medical evacuation that literally saves lives, executing airlift missions that span the globe while avoiding threat engagement zones, literally at the last second, while carrying the DoD's highest-ranking senior leaders on board, courier missions throughout the Med with time-sensitive cargo that steer strategic decisions, fiercely advocating for your team, or supporting Ramstein Air Base during contingencies at home, on the eastern flank, and in the Med. You brilliantly led the world's fastest airlift squadron like a true professional and absolutely poured your heart and soul into squadron command. As General Jones described last Tuesday, you gave it your all. You made the squadron a family by including spouses, significant others, and their loved ones into monthly Feed the Doves potlucks, countless booster club events, and by simply letting them know they were part of the squadron and a valued member of the team. You instilled the importance of the Air Force family during the squadron's 80th anniversary, culminating in an epic piano burn, continuing Grant's ride over the years, and the IFO 2-1 Memorial are just a few examples of proving you shaped a culture that will long outlive all of us. More recently, the 76AS was assessed as highly effective by the IG for quality of life engagement. Things that will not carry along with us, but they had included high marks in atmosphere of respect, recognition, leadership, transparency, and airman's time. More evidence of a high-performing unit that demands dignity and respect with an unsurpassed mission focus. That was under your leadership. That is what expected of commanders when they leave behind and it's time to pass the flag. And that's exactly what you achieved. John and Eleanor, please be proud of what you accomplished and the new heights that are alive and well in the 76th Airlift Squadron. Now it's time to pass those responsibilities on to the next team. Crystal, Henry, and Grayson, before I talk about Brian and pick on him for a little bit, I want to thank you for being a part of the Air Force family and for the sacrifices you've made over the years. Speaking of sacrifices, when the squadron commander list was released last fall, this was when we were pushing the 37th out the door, so it was late nights for everybody. I was given the honor to congratulate both of you first. I apologize for the after-hours phone call. I may have woke you up, and the emotions surrounding the good news certainly kept you up a lot longer that night than you were planning on. And Crystal, I'm sure there'll be more late-night phone calls. I hope you don't have to sacrifice sleep for them, but I can't say the same for your husband. Bryan, the warm-up period's over. You understand exactly what is expected of the world's fastest airlift squadron and its leadership team. I have no doubt you're the right leader at the right time and place to continue the squadron's impressive legacy. As the Doves move forward, continue to inspire loyalty up and down the chain. Let your teams run while you help them reduce constraints and mitigate risk. Value and develop your people, and sharpen the next generation of airmen who will replace all of us who will be standing and sitting here someday. None of those are easy tasks, but you have my trust and confidence, and I'm excited for the squadron's future with you at the controls. Now it's time to get after it. All right, let's present a medal.
Thank you, Colonel Eckert. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of the Meritorious Service Medal.
Publish the order.
Attention to orders. Citation to accompany the award of Meritorious Service Medal to Lieutenant Colonel John T. Field. Lieutenant Colonel John T. Field distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Commander, 76th Airlift Squadron, 86th Operations Group, 86th Airlift Wing, Ramstein Air Base, Germany. During this period, Lieutenant Colonel Field expertly led 131 airmen through rapidly increasing operations in C-21A and C-37A aircraft, guaranteeing support to 3 combatant commanders and senior leaders of the United States and North Atlantic Treaty Organization. During Operation Allies Refuge, Lieutenant Colonel Field was the first in, last out, as supervisor of flying operations during a 300% operations increase, overseeing the safe transit of 35,000 Afghans during the largest humanitarian airlift in history. Additionally, his keen oversight of a $4.4 million budget enabled 5,200 flight hours to 333 airfields, culminating in 1,532 missions and the only continuous C-21A aeromedical evacuation alert, resulting in 28 launches, saving 321 lives. Finally, his commitment to unit morale led to the squadron's 80th anniversary celebration, garnering 9,000 participants, as well as the relocation of the IFO-21 Memorial, ensuring the legacy of a fallen aircrew for generations to come. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Lieutenant Colonel Field reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. It is my pleasure to introduce the Commander, 76th Airlift Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel John T. Field.
We're going to get there. Okay. Thank you to all our distinguished visitors, leadership teams, family, friends that have joined us today. Thank you, Chaplain Thomas, Sergeant Causel, and the Honor Guard for their participation in the event. These events don't just happen. It takes a lot of work behind the scenes. Huge thank you to the team that put all this together. Captain Dahl, Master Sergeant Rivera, Master Sergeant Williams, A1C Vasquez, Senior Airman Womack, Senior Airman Wood, Lieutenant Colonel Pillars, Tech Sergeant Schubert, Captain Ballman, Major Bishop, Tech Sergeant Coach, Lieutenant Rattray for leading the whole thing, and the rest of the change of command team. Can I get a round of applause for them, please? As I look back on the last 2 years, where I've had the honor to lead the mighty men and women of the 76th Airlift Squadron, the Fighting Doves, I'm just overcome with thankfulness. Brigadier General Jones, Chief Ludwig, Colonel Musa, Ms. Fisher, and the leadership teams before, thank you for entrusting me to lead the Mighty Doves as the 58th Commander. The 76th has a proud, long-standing history of safety, spirit, service, going back to 1943. That reputation is stronger than ever today. Colonel Eckert, sir, thank you for your mentorship and your leadership. We'll never forget our 80th. You came up to me and you asked, go find me 2 hotshot lieutenants to go play cornhole with. At that moment, I knew he was going to be a great OG. They were walking around with you and you were asking them, so you throw up one bag after another and you alternate? They totally bought that he didn't know how to play cornhole, not realizing that he's the cornhole king. I think after he drained the first 8 shots, they finally realized something was up. I'm pretty sure they're still scarred today, so thank you for that. Chief Roy, thank you for being you. You have never failed to always give the insight when it was needed and to give us, all our OG commanders, a gut check. Your support for our enlisted members is second to none, and I still don't care what you say. I don't feel like an experienced squadron commander. K-Fed, thanks for always being there to listen to our issues and helping to work towards a solution to them. I am somewhat perplexed, though. You have this fire marshal jacket in your office, yet we've had 3 fires in different buildings, and yet we have yet to see Fire Marshal Kevin. When's that going to happen, man? Fellow commanders, it's such an incredible privilege that I've been able to work alongside of you. Ramstein is a beast. It's because of incredible officers like you that Ramstein will always succeed. I learned so much from each of you, and I can't thank you enough for all the support. There was never a problem we couldn't solve together, and all of you made it a little less lonely on the top. One word of advice, though. If a lieutenant ever asks you if you are there to get tased, don't say, I will if you will. It will backfire on you, and they'll call your bluff. It sucks being tased. Ask me how I know. To my OG battle buddies, Colonel Moses, Taylor, CH, and always last, Fozzie, ops never stops. We all have reached incredible heights over the last couple of years. It's been an awesome opportunity to work through things with you. The struggle has been real, but we worked through it all together. Thank you for always being available and there for one another. Fozzie, sorry, not sorry for the 76 noise complaints. But Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas is My Hold music. Well played, sir. Well played. To our C-21 and C-37 maintenance team, thank you for helping to support this event. As I look out, 2 years ago I was in awe of it, and I still was in awe of 2 C-21s and the Gulfstream to boot. It doesn't get better than this. All other squadron commanders, I'm sorry. You may put a K-loader or a fire truck in here, but this is about as good as it gets. As great as this is, the bigger thank you will always be providing the men and women of the 76th Airlift Squadron with safe, reliable aircraft. Our jets are not getting any younger. In fact, many who fly on them are younger than the aircraft themselves. And somehow you work miracles to make sure that they are able to always accomplish the mission. I slept well at night knowing that they were in good aircraft and they were always going to make it home. To the quad and 3 generations of DO, SELs, and shirts. Oh, you didn't do it this time. You taught me a lot. To C-Dub, Brian, and now Justin, you are the DOs that continue to relentlessly support our crews. You make ops look easy, and although you rarely get the credit that is deserved, what you did without fail ripples through the headlines every day. There's no way to do this job without stellar senior enlisted leaders. Chantal before and Asia now. Your passion for professional development and caring for all of our airmen is unwavering. Thank you for all the support and closed door conversations. You have always been my right hand, and I wouldn't have wanted anyone else by my side. First Sergeants, B-Rod, Tiffany, Flowers, and now JR. Thank you for being there for all the airmen and being there for me. There's no way to do this job without trusted agents, and all of my shirts have taught me so much. I wouldn't trade the time I had with each of you. To all the former quad members, all of you brought your own flair, and together we have always had the squadron and the members' best interests in mind. Thank you for all the vector checks and allowing me to steal moments of your day. I was fortunate to have a quad that stood side by side with me, and I think we were all better off because of it. General Ronald Fogelman once said, "People are the assets that determine our success or failure." Doves. What an incredible couple of years. It has truly been the highest honor to lead you as the commander. This squadron is special. We are small but mighty, and we have accomplished a lot together. Coming out of COVID, just finishing up OAR, and the war in Ukraine freshly starting, we never skipped a beat. We had promotions and retirements. We celebrated baby doves new to the nest and mourned the loss of our family members. We had OTS selects, members separate or retire. We honored the crew's memory of Eiffel 2-1 and moved the memorial to a more public location. Remember the life of Staff Sergeant Davis and continue his annual ride. We celebrated 80 historic years of the squadron with an epic week-long set of events to include a tribute by the USAFE commander, a December formation, a final Friday, and one heck of a flaming throw to start an incredible flaming axe throw to start an incredible piano bird. Through the highs and the lows, we went through it all together as a family. You have so much to be proud of, and we're the first to do so many things. You delivered the Advon when the conflict with Israel and Gaza started, paving the way for follow-on forces. You were first to establish a new route to Djibouti after things heated up in the Red Sea. The first to codify an ERO from a helicopter to a C-21 for air medical evacuation. Countless airfield surveys, CODELs, SecDef backups, and many, many other things. All while providing world-class, ready airlift to our normal users, and the only 24/7, 365 A alert in all of USAFE. What you have done has been nothing short of incredible, and I've just been in awe watching you do it. Our diversity is our strength. By utilizing all expertise of 8 different specialties and 2 different airframes, making the Doves the most unique airlift squadron in all of USAFE Africa, we have accomplished what few have done before. With that being said, we could not have done it without the support of our families. Our key support liaison team is second to none. You've helped build an organization that is family-focused and always available. All the spouse support for Feed the Doves, welcome trains, spouse sponsors, booster club events, the annual chicken slaughter, also known as Freedom Fest. We couldn't have done it without you, and you're often carrying much of the load due to ops tempo. Thank you. I would like to extend a special thanks to my German extended family, Oma, who has been gracious enough to adopt us twice, and we now have lived on both sides of her. Colonel retired, or as the kids like to say, Papa Mike, and Miss Michelle. We're so thankful you moved back to Germany. It's truly a small world and even a smaller Air Force. To my parents, thank you for teaching all of us kids what it means to serve. Dad, your 32 years of service in the Army was an example for all 3 of us. I'm sorry if I didn't get the full lesson. I went Air Force and both the girls married in the Army. I think I made a pretty good decision though. Connor and Mackenzie. I told you 2 years ago that our family was going to get bigger. You embraced that. You befriended every member of the squadron, and no one was a stranger to you. Your limitless energy and eagerness to get to know everyone brought smiles to so many faces. Thank you for being awesome. And yes, you are still my crazy kids. To my beautiful wife, Eleanor. We set off on a goal 2 years ago to build something we have never had in the squadron, somewhere that felt like a family. We have accomplished that goal. Thank you for always being there for the squadron. You were there with me to celebrate all the wins, and you were there to listen to me vent about all the lows. I will never be able to repay you for everything you've done to make this squadron the place that it is. I'm looking forward to our long-earned vacation. I love you. As hard as it is to leave the men and women of the 76, it's easier when you know that the next one up is the right one for the job. I know the Doves are in great hands with Brian, Crystal, Henry, and Grayson. Brian, the people are what makes this the best job in the world. And we have some incredibly talented people that make up the Dove family. Brian, I know the Doves are going to soar to new heights with you leading the way. And now, finally, you'll be able to eat your lunch in peace. Maybe. Hopefully. I am going to challenge you with one thing, though, and it's one of your own lines. Don't be too big to do small things. 2 years ago, I stood up here and gave some left and right bounds. I asked for all of us to be part of a team, come together as a family, to remember we put on the uniform before we put on wings, to lead with compassion, honor our heritage and traditions. If we did all that, the sky was the limit. You have done all that and then some. You have exceeded all my expectations, and I cannot be prouder of each and every one of you and what we accomplished together. I did say one thing that I now regret, though. I challenged you to keep up with me. That is where I was wrong. There isn't anyone who can keep up with the Fighting Doves, the world's fastest airlift squadron. It truly has been an honor to serve alongside each and every one of you, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Field. The men and women of the 76th Airlift Squadron would like to render a final salute to Lieutenant Colonel Field.
Sir, it's been an honor and a privilege to serve you.
Honor's been all mine.
The men and women of the 76th Airlift Squadron would like to recognize the Field family with flowers and a gift for their continuous support. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the change of command. Attention to orders. 86th Airlift Wing, United States Air Forces in Europe, Ramstein Air Base, Germany. Under the provisions of Department of the Air Force Instruction 51-509 and in accordance with Special Order Number 24-22 dated 10 May 2024, Lieutenant Colonel Bryan H. Gibbs is hereby appointed Commander of the 76th Airlift Squadron, effective 10 May 2024, signed Colonel Brett Eckert, United States Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. It is my distinct honor to introduce to you for the very first time the Commander, 76th Airlift Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Bryan H. Gibbs.
Thank you all for that warm welcome. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you to everyone in the crowd today for being here to celebrate the Doves and the Field and the Gibbs family today. It means a lot to us. And to the committee who came together to put this event in such a short period of time, thank you very much. In true Dove executive airlift fashion, you went above and beyond, and you all are my heroes. Thank you very much. And to Crystal, to my love, to my rock, It's not lost on me today that today is Spouse Appreciation Day, and here you are supporting me in the limelight rather than the other way around. But I hope you know just how much I do appreciate for everything you do, for being by my side on this long and crazy journey. You sacrifice endlessly for our family and for my calling to service to this nation, and I couldn't do it without you. Thank you, love. To the Doves, I hope you know just how much of a loving and supportive advocate you have on your side now with Crystal at the team. To Henry, hey buddy, thank you for making me proud to be a father each and every day. The kindness you show to everyone is contagious and makes everyone around you want to be better for it. To Grayson, hey buddy, thank you for being unapologetically you, authentic, and always full of smiles, just like you are today. I don't think there's anything that could take the wind out of your sails. Keep it up, buddy. You make every day brighter. Mom and Dad, thank you so much for being here. Mom, happy almost Mother's Day. I got you this lovely Gulfstream. If you can get it back home, it's all yours. You can't use any of the folks here in the middle, though, to get it home. Mom and Dad, thank you so much for giving me that push in the right direction to the Air Force Academy so many years ago, and for supporting me ever since through multiple overseas tours and just being gone ever since. I couldn't have done it without you either. General Jones, sir, thank you for being here today, and thank you for your confidence in my leadership for the 76th. It's been great working with you over the past several assignments. During that time, I've gleaned a lot from your leadership. Specifically how to be steady and provide a sense of calmness amid chaos and change. Specifically how to emphasize being a leader of character and how to always focus on the team in all capital letters. Thank you. To Colonel Eckert, thank you as well for your confidence in my leadership as well. Thank you for everything that you've done and for the example that you've given to me over previous assignments as well. I've learned a great deal from your example as a squadron commander in our time together as a Black Cat. Primarily the lesson that it's our duty to sharpen one another, especially through failures and ownership of those failures, because it's the only way that we're going to be better. Much like a green light that never showed up in the HUD. Thank you, sir. To John, the only job that I ever wanted to do, you know this, was to be a DO in a flying squadron. Anything beyond that was icing on the cake. Sir, thank you for giving me the latitude and the freedom to fully immerse myself in that DO office and the DO role and to find my stride there this past year. It will pay huge dividends in the next 2 years. Thank you. We wish you all the best moving forward. To my fellow friends and colleagues from past and present lives, who Crystal and I call our Air Force family, some that have even flown thousands of miles to be here, thank you for being here today. You all have been through it all with Crystal and I, all the major life events, countless TDYs, upgrades, deployments, growth of our families, good times and bad. You all have certainly helped set the stage for who I am as a leader and who I am and how I plan to lead the Doves today. Thank you. To my Weilerbach family, thank you all for being here today to celebrate with us. You all help to remind me that no matter where our airmen find themselves around the Kaiserslautern community, that there are people like yourselves that will go above and beyond to help make this overseas tour feel like a home away from home. Appreciate you. And finally, to my fighting Doves. It is truly an honor to be standing here in front of you today as your commander. This unit has a special place in my heart, having been my first operational unit and the one that laid the foundation for who I am as a leader and as an aviator. The standards that this unit holds itself to is unmatched. Because only the sharpest individuals that our nation has to offer can make executive airlift and operational support airlift look as easy as you do each and every day. You ensure our nation's highest leaders are able to guide an ever-changing geopolitical landscape worldwide. And you can provide that capability into any theater at any time. You provide 24/7, 365 rapid air medical response, sometimes in the middle of the night in the worst weather, to ensure America's sons and daughters abroad have access to the best medical care this theater has to offer. And you help sustain the theater's troops and their decision makers with time-sensitive intel and routine resupply. I can't think of a more diverse and responsive airlift squadron around the world, and I could not be more proud to be among such a fine group of leaders of character that are credible in their craft. I look forward to our next 2 years together, and am thankful for your trust in me and your dedication to our mission. I promise to do everything in my ability to be worthy of that trust each and every day. So Doves, let's get back at it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Gibbs. At this time, the men and women of the 76th Airlift Squadron would like to render their first salute to Lieutenant Colonel Gibbs.
Sir, look forward to serving you.
The men and women of the 76th Airlift Squadron would like to present Colonel Gibbs' family with flowers and celebrate their new role in the Duff family as Lieutenant Colonel Gibbs becomes the newest commander of the 76th Airlift Squadron. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Air Force song and remain standing for the departure of the official party. This concludes today's ceremony. On behalf of Colonel Eckerd, thank you for attending. Please join us in congratulating Lieutenant Colonel Gibbs and his family with their reception in the rear of the hangar. Have a great Air Force Day.
I almost presented the flowers during this hilarious.
Shoot. This microphone will be the death of me. Oh my. I was able to get it lower yesterday, and then when I started, I was like, I guess we're on our toes.